Welcome back. Engaging with our communities on contentious issues can always pose a challenge. How do you encourage these conversations as a first step so that we can identify solutions to move forward? Today, you're about to meet someone who's taken her passion for writing and used it as a forum for community engagement. Hina Mirza serves as the co-editor and lead writer for the Islamic Society of North America's online Canadian publication called ISNA Lanterns. She also serves as the vice chair for the Media Communications Committee for ISNA Canada. Let's learn more about her journey with writing and community engagement. Welcome to the show, Hina.
Thank you. That was quite an introduction.
What can I say? Google does wonders.
Thank you.
So can you tell me first a little bit about yourself and your education background? How did you get into writing?
Okay, well, I am not trained professionally to be a writer, but one of the things I always tell people is that writing, along with any of the form of art, is a natural talent. Either you have it or you don't. That doesn't mean to say that I'm saying that I'm some kind of superior writer. What I am trying to say is that writing came easy to me. It was fun to formulate words. I would read certain sentences and I would find them so exciting and so interesting. I was that nerd who would put stuff down in the notebook and be like, wow, that sounded awesome. And I would write it down. And growing up, I was a writer from the word go. I, as far as I can remember, as far as my memory is, and my parents always tell me that I used to love to just scribble and write and write and write. When I was very young, I was, I think it was a grade 4, I started a community newsletter for a bunch of families. You know, we were just, I think it was 10 families. We lived in an apartment building and it was a small size community. And I just got all the kids engaged and I said, listen, we're just gonna start our own publication and we're gonna write articles about the stuff that we do. And it was a very active community. We did a lot of things. And so that's what we did. I got everybody on board, and that was my first newsletter that I remember.
And here you are with ISNA Lanterns now.
Absolutely, and it's been quite a journey. I have been writing for the past 16 years. I've been published for 16 years, and in the past I've served as an editor for a parenting magazine. And then, you know, when I moved to this part of the world, I immediately went. I got in touch with ISNA for other reasons, but once they found out that I had a publishing background, they called me and they said, let's sit and talk.
So tell me a little bit about ISNA Lanterns.
Well, this has been a fantastic journey for me. ISNA Lanterns has been an amazing journey. When I first came to ISNA, they wanted to know a little bit more about publication. There was a little bit of probing, and they were asking, you know, in your professional experience, how do you set up a newsletter? What do you do? How do you engage with the community? And so I gave them information based on my knowledge, but I said, you know, I'm going to give you some personal advice. If you're looking to launch another masjid newsletter, don't do it. People don't read them. What we really need is engaging the community. We need to have conversations that are real and that are relevant. And you know, luckily the administration at ISNA right now, they are so excited to see the youth do what they want to do. They're excited about projects that are going to go places, that are going to actually be groundbreaking ways for the community to come together now. So in lieu of that, they were super excited and they gave me a lot of support, and I was very surprised because you imagine the masjid culture to be a certain way.
And when you say, when you say masjid, you're talking about mosques, right?
Yes,
okay.
I am, yes.
Okay.
So you expect their culture to be a certain way where they want everything regimented, that this is what we're going to talk about and these are taboo topics and we're never going to touch them. But at ISNA, they were very open to the idea of dialogue, and they said, hey, yeah, absolutely.
So how do you find So how do you find, you mentioned the taboo, there are a lot of taboo topics in our community, and I know ISNA Lanterns has written on quite a few of them.
Yeah.
How has the community engagement aspect been?
Good and bad.
Okay.
You know, I don't know, I don't want to call it a pro or a con, whatever you decide, it's for your own decision. But when you put things out on social media, your work is open for everyone to read.
Everyone and anyone.
Absolutely. And that doesn't mean that it's restricted to a Muslim audience. That means it's actually open to absolutely anybody to say what they want to say or to comment the way that they want to comment. And the way that your article is received is going to be entirely dependent on the audience. You know, you sit there and you write your piece and you say, this is the best I could have done, it's perfect. You publish it and all of a sudden you see comment, 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 and then you have your friends calling you up and saying, oh my God, did you read? But I always tell them this. Number one, I don't read. I I don't engage back in the comment section. I'll have people. In fact, when we did when we covered our article on serial, the Adnan Syed case, I was in touch with Rabia Chaudhry for that, and she messaged me and she said, "Hina, did you see what's happening on Reddit? Are you gonna comment?" And I said, "No, as an author, I don't comment."
Can you give me a little bit about, just so our viewers understand, the Adnan case that you wrote about? Just give us some background on that.
So Adnan Syed was sent to prison for a crime, and obviously I am no lawyer or expert on the matter, so I'm going to refrain from commenting on any of that. But he was convicted for a crime, and he is serving time currently as well. His case came into light when Serial, a podcast, became very famous. Sarah Koenig was the one who was the idea behind it, and all of a sudden, Adnan was in the spotlight. So my article actually doesn't talk about the case at all. It just talks about his development, his personal development, and it takes a little bit of an Islamic perspective, where as Muslims we feel that all things, good and bad, are sent from God, and we deal with them and we comprehend them on our own terms, and we learn and grow from them as they happen.
So when you mentioned that there were a lot of comments and there was a lot of controversy going on, and you mentioned specifically that you don't respond back to the comments. So how do you engage, this idea of engaging with the community? How do you see that manifest itself?
So as a publication, you want people to talk. Whether it's good or bad, there's no such thing as bad publicity. If people are sharing your article or commenting on your article, from a very from a publisher's perspective, it doesn't matter what they're saying. Everybody's entitled to an opinion, right? I mean, I don't have to sit here and say you must agree with everything that I'm saying.
Of course, yes.
You're entitled to your own opinion, but if you're voicing your opinion on my publication, fantastic. And that's what we were trying to do at ISNA Lanterns. The idea behind the project isn't that we want the entire Muslim community to follow suit and say, yes, you guys are absolutely right about everything. That's never going to be possible. It's an opinion-based piece. A lot of our pieces are based out of the writer's thoughts and ideas. What we do want to see, though, is we want to see people saying something back to us, commenting and telling us, I agree with you, that's fantastic, you're doing really well. Or, on the flip side, saying, I completely disagree, that's wrong, it's incorrect, you shouldn't be talking like that.
Tell me a little bit, that was very helpful, thank you. Tell me a little bit about, do you feel these your writing is impacting the community? And I guess maybe one example that perhaps you can embed it in is, I know you mentioned that you had to do an article recently on eating disorders.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about, just these topics and how you feel, are they really making a difference in the community from your perspective?
I certainly hope they are. We're a fantastic team that's working really hard to start up the conversation, and that's always the hard part. Initiating the conversation is hard. Once it starts happening, it becomes easier. And I was very fortunate and very touched, by the way. A young lady said that, I think that this is a really important issue and I want it to be written about and I want you to write the piece.
So she just approached you knowing that you're an author at ISNA Lanterns?
Yes, somewhat. Okay. I mean, she wanted to remain anonymous, so,
okay. Of course.
Whatever came first, the chicken or the egg. The situation was that she was really interested in getting her voice out there because she felt like it was an important issue to talk about. And I will be honest with you, across the this past year and a half, working with ISNA Lanterns, getting the opportunity to speak to Muslims living in this part of the world has been phenomenal. There are real issues out there. This young lady that I'm talking about, she was suffering with an eating disorder. She was suffering through contemplating thoughts of suicide, and it's not easy. It's not easy to talk about it, but it was a bold, brave step on her part to
Definitely.
Allow herself that, that channel and, allow me the privilege of being the person who writes about it. And then opening that conversation for a lot of young women out there. Muslim women are not immune to the concept of eating disorders or the idea of body image. Just because we're wearing hijab or a long dress or a blazer on top of our dresses doesn't mean that we don't care about what we look like. And that was important to me, to be able to have that opportunity from her behalf and tell other women that it's okay if you're thinking this, but here's a healthier way of handling it.
That's amazing. Thank you very much, Hina. I know I'm definitely inspired, so I do hope our viewers definitely engage.
And I encourage everybody to write. If you're a writer, you should be writing, share your talent and put your voice out there. A writer has this rare opportunity to leave their legacy behind, and if you can do it, you should, contact us, get in touch with us, write for us or don't write for us, but definitely, if you're a good Muslim writer, make sure that you're putting your voice out there.
Definitely. And just so our viewers know, how, where can they check out ISNA Lanterns, their publications?
Yes, you can go on our website. It's isnalanterns.com, and you can get in touch with the editor, or you can ask to become a writer. We have concept meetings once a month. We are a monthly publication, by the way, so we have concept meetings, which are a lot of fun, a lot of engagement, a lot of interaction. So everybody has a say with what they want to do, and if you want to write about a piece, great. But if you don't, yet you still want to have a say about what gets published, even better. The more people in the room, the better the conversation.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.